Hey everyone, Irix Guy here. Now I wanted to do a very in-depth prepping video. Preparations, prepping. You've probably heard the buzzwords on the news recently, internet, wherever. You may have seen some popular TV shows, doomsday preppers, etc. And you're probably wondering, well, should I prep too? And why are these people prepping? People take it to all different degrees of seriousness. Some people are very, very granular when it comes to their preparations. Some people may just put a few bottles of water aside and a couple of ramen noodle packs or something. And I personally, the standpoint that I take on prepping and the reason I prep, and people prep for different reasons. The primary reason for most is either the current government in our country and or the alleged end of days, 12/21/12, which is the end of the Mayan calendar. But the reason I prep, not necessarily directly linked to either of those, but it's the economic collapse. And all you have to do to visualize the economic collapse is go to your fast food restaurant, go to your grocery store, go buy something that you bought a few years back and see how many more dollars that cost. And a lot of people may look at that and they may not really realize the significance. It's like, oh, everything costs more. Yeah, but the price of cost of living, all those goods, those groceries, those batteries, those fuel, anything, everything, all of that going up, people don't realize it until they're like, God, you know, I'm running out of cash. And the reason being is that people, if they're still lucky enough to have a job, because companies everywhere in this country are closing, if people are still lucky enough to have a job, they're probably making the same, if not less. And if they did get a raise, it's probably insignificant, because the companies themselves are under this economic hardship. You know, it costs them more to do their to conduct their business, and since they're having to pay more to conduct business, they have less money, less disposable money to pay their help. Now, the danger of this is that everything's going to hit a point to where inflation causes the price of goods to go so high that people, regardless of job, regardless of savings, will not be able to afford their day-to-day life. That's food, health care, just shelter, everything. So with that being said, what I do to prep, and I've always been an outdoorsman, but if you don't have the gear already, there's a few things that I would recommend everybody get. And that's a high-quality frame pack, backpack to go backpacking. Hey, if economic conditions improve and everything's fine, at least you've got something cool you can use with friends and family to get out in the woods, get some exercise, and enjoy nature. In addition to that frame pack, I would get a mummy bag, cold weather mummy bag, probably 0-degree rating, depending upon where your geographical location is. And keep in mind, you may have to relocate if the SHTF scenario hits the fan. So, in an SHTF scenario, you may have once lived in a warm environment and then have to relocate to a cold weather environment, or vice versa. So keep that in mind. So your mummy bag, also plenty of extra batteries and a few flashlights. You want to make sure you got that, because when and if things really collapse, going to the store to buy those batteries and those flashlights won't be an option. Magnesium stick, a magnesium fire starter. Basically all it is a piece of metal you can put in your frame pack. You can strike a knife against it. That's another item. Get you a high quality knife. Good outdoor knife such as a K-bar, which is Marine Corps issue. Very nice durable knife. You can get one of those. And you can strike it against it after shaving little shavings into a pile of tinder that you've whittled down out of sticks. And the sparks, when you strike it with a metal knife or other metal object, will light the little shavings, which will then flare up and light the tinder, the little pieces of wood. So that's a high-level list of items you'll need. Now, something else you'll want to get some purification tablets for water. More than likely, when and if this total meltdown, this economic meltdown occurs, bottled water will be very scarce, if even available at all. So you need to have the ability to put in some purification tablets and purify your own drinking water. Because if you drink water out of a spring now, unfortunately, places throughout the country are polluted. So you're probably going to get some really nasty bacteria that could cause serious sickness and or death. So you always need to purify that water before you drink it. Get you plenty of those on hand. If you're dependent upon certain medications, I would recommend stockpiling those, because when and if this economic meltdown occurs, the availability of those medications will be very scarce, if available at all. Become familiar with outdoor activities. Learn how to start a fire. Practice with your magnesium fire starter stick. Have a plan. When and if, in the middle of the night or the middle of the day, you wake up or you're interrupted from whatever activity and things have really hit the fan, you got to get out. Know where to go. And personally, I would recommend places that are wooded, because you're going to have protection there as far as visibility is concerned. Wooded and a stream, because you need that natural water source. You can always use that land to plant crops, so you can become self-sufficient. And being self-sufficient, and hopefully we don't encounter this, but when and if total meltdown occurs, we're not going to have the government to protect us at all. It's going to be everyone for themselves, and it's the people that possess the best understanding of survival. That's everything from growing crops, purifying water, setting up a camp. Be sure to get you a tent with that frame pack too, because you're going to need shelter. You just really got to be prepared to go out there. And this may sound extreme, but if you don't practice these skills now, and a lot of people won't, but if you don't practice them now, when and if this total economic meltdown occurs, it's going to be the blind leading the blind. So hopefully, and align yourself with like-minded people, people that have made the same preparations, same or similar preparations as you. There's power in numbers. Get together, learn from continue to learn from one another, and survive, and bring in the people that that can benefit your, and I'll just call it a tribe, because when and if this happens, there's going to be tribes of people trying to fight for survival. That's another good thing, fighting for survival. It may be a good idea to have a few firearms and some ammo, because when and if this economic meltdown occurs, there's going to be a lot of looting. The people that feel that this tribe of people are more adept to being able to survive self-sufficiently, they're going to try to rob them. So be sure to brush up on those on how to clean guns, how to shoot guns, how to create shelter, how to build like I said earlier, a wooded area with a stream, preferably high in altitude, and that way you've got a good vantage point. When and if your tribe's invaded, you can look down from afar and just kind of have the jump on them. Learn how to build have some shovels and stuff stockpiled, because when and if this occurs, you probably need to build some makeshift bunkers so that you can hunker down in those when and if you're attacked. So I mean, and like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody here, but it's one of those things where if you don't prepare now, I mean, this total meltdown could occur within a matter of hours or a matter of days. And when and if there's any mass warning, and mass warning I mean the news media or whatever, that something big's about to go down, all of these supplies are going to be spoken for already. And it's just going to be looting and riots, and like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm being serious about this. I know I post a lot of stuff on my channel that's kind of goofy, and I post a lot of serious stuff. But and also gold, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, fractional. Remember that. Because when and if this occurs, the dollar is already pretty much next to worthless. But when and if this occurs, it's going to be bartering. So there's going to be goods that maybe get you some extra magnesium fire starter sticks. When and if this occurs, those are going to be as valuable as gold or silver. So people need to start fires to cook their food to stay warm. Got some extra ones of those, you can barter with someone else for another significant essential supply that you've run out of or failed to realize that you needed before the total economic meltdown occurred. So I welcome your feedback, and like I said, positive or negative, I don't care. I'm not here to scare anyone, but I'm here to hopefully try to make people think and encourage people to prepare. And like I said, there's different degrees of preparations. There's people that some people perceive them as taking it to the extreme. I personally never believe that anyone is taking it to the extreme, because it's up to that individual. That's my belief. And there's some of y'all that will probably be saying, God, you're not prepared at all. And you know what? I'll accept that too, because I'm making the preparations that I can comfortably afford to make at this current state of the economy. So I'm not going out on a limb making excessive preparations to where I'm going to break myself when it comes to day-to-day self-sustainability, buying food, groceries, and all of that. But I am making enough for when and if the SHTF, and look that acronym up, SHTF, when and if an SHTF scenario occurs. I've got my bug out plan. I know where I'm going to go. I know whom I'm going to align myself with. The tribe, the start of the tribe. Who's going to be in that tribe, and who's going to not only help me to better survive, but I'll help people to better survive as well, because there's power in numbers. So keep that in mind. Feel free to share this video with others, and feel free to check out my other videos too, and I welcome all of your feedback. Like I said, positive or negative, I don't care. This is a serious video. I want to know what your preps are. What did I miss? What's something that you would definitely have in that bug out bag, a backpack of gear you put on your back and get out of Dodge? What would you put in there? Y'all have a good day, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy.